Hi everyone, this is Jen Fuentecilla from First United Methodist Church. I'm the Director of Christian Education, and I'm here today with a special friend from our congregation, and she was kind enough to let me interview her this afternoon. So, hello friend, why don't you take a moment to introduce yourself and share what service you go to at our church.
Hey Jen, and hey everyone, this is Tanya Castaneda. I usually go to the 9:30 service with my family, Steve, husband, and our kids, Rocco and Veronica. So nice to see you.
Tell us what this experience has been like for you and your family while you're sheltering in place, Tanya.
Boy, this has been something different. We really could never have anticipated this, but it's challenged us in new ways, and it's actually brought us closer. And it's been really weird to be a stay-at-home homeschooling mom, but we're somehow making it work. We have, just like everybody almost that we know, we are suffering income losses as a result, but we're not, panicking or anything. We have a plan, but it's going to take us working together as a family to get through it. So I think that the slower pace has been a positive. It's actually a few times I've kind of whispered to myself, boy, I don't know if I should be enjoying the slower pace as much as I am. I feel guilty, but I think we have to take those moments that we find and do what we can with them, because that's the silver lining. And finally, one of the bright spots has been using Zoom to connect with friends, even including our life group. So
absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. What would a normal day have looked like for you and Steve and the family if we weren't in this COVID crisis?
a normal day would have been like any other working couple, commuting to work, dropping the kids off at school, commuting back, racing to make dinner, racing to get homework done. Every time, when I think about it, I think about that fast pace, and I'm so grateful to have this moment of silence and quiet. And even though there are obviously stressors, it's really nice to have no huge rush to commute, and that's really a blessing.
Absolutely. You shared a little bit about this time and family has been keeping you going. Anything else that has just really put a smile on your face that you're getting up every morning? What has kept you going? Have you found that you started something that maybe you didn't have time for before?
Well, like I mentioned, one bright spot that has actually lifted me up, and Jen, you were a part of that, was doing a Zoom meeting of our life group. And that kind of was a spark. And I felt like after that, I felt like, wow, that gives me that connection that I've been hungering for. And being able to kind of resilience in adversity. I said, Nehemiah. And so I had never really thought about it as a source of comfort in a time like this, but our life group has actually taken upon itself to look at the first few chapters of Nehemiah and try to look at the lessons that we can learn. Another positive has been the ability to read a little bit more and take a little bit more quiet time. So I shared with you, Jen, that there's a book that's been sitting on my shelf for a long time called Little House on the Freeway. And that's a book. I actually got it from the director of Christian education at First Presbyterian Church, where my kids go. But the book is all about it says help for the hurried home. So it's really exactly a discussion of the kind of fast-paced life we have and how it's so hard on the family. And so again, it's kind of amazing that I've had the opportunity to read that and absorb it.
One of the things, and I agree with you, one of the things that has kept me going was continuing our meetings with our life group. And I think our last meeting, we shared how Nehemiah encourages us to really ask for help. I feel that, people have been just adjusting to this time, trying to make this work from moment to moment, that you forget at the end of the day when you're so exhausted and you don't even know where the time went, that you need to ask, well, I need help with this. I need help. God, can you help me with this area or this thing that I'm frustrated with? So really identifying, what's troubling you, and taking the time to ask God for help because he's always listening, right? We talked about that in our life group. And I don't know, it's this dramatic pause has really, I agree, allowed you to open up and share things and meet and discuss and open a book, whereas before when we're living life on the freeway, that it's very different. Absolutely. So what are some things that we can lift in prayer for your family, for our world?
I think that just lift us up in prayer for the getting through this as a family, and I really would love for us all to lift up in prayer all of our first line healthcare workers, especially those who don't have the protective equipment. I'm really saddened and worried about that, but it can be very discouraging looking at the news and seeing the kinds of situations that our friends and our relatives are working under. But I think that letting them know that we are praying for them too is important.
Definitely. What else? Any other thoughts for our church until we meet again?
Well, I'm just going to say, this is so random, but Jen, you know I was going to say this, but so Dave Ramsey I introduced to through our church, and I didn't do FPU, the Financial Peace University, but I did really find the video that was shown at our church during the 9:30 service to be very inspiring. So I started looking into him, and it's thanks to Dave Ramsey's program that I feel that we're not panicked, that we have a plan, and he helped us get our finances in order through his messages. And so I think that was a real blessing that our church brought me, even though it's kind of, even though we didn't go through the university, we were touched by his message. And so I would encourage everybody who's facing that kind of financial worry to look up the Dave Ramsey show and follow that like we do.
Absolutely. And maybe when this crisis is over and there's an opportunity to teach, stay tuned, right? Maybe Tanya and Jen could teach this class together.
Tanya and Jen teaming up for FPU.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you to everyone in the FUMC CV family. Miss you.
Bye-bye.